Well, Cassette and Boomer, they're grizzled and gray, talking about Star Wars from back in the day. Got a talk show called Geeky, and it's true, spinning old tales about the stuff they went through. From Atari to Shrek, they know every line. Geeky, man, they're feeling just fine. Late Savvy's got a lightsaber, swings it with pride. Boomer's got a game but plays it deep in the night. They're ranting about He-Man and old X-Men too. On Geeky, they're the nerdiest crew. Talking Transformers toys that twist and they turn. Singing blues for the geek life, their hearts still burn. Oh, Geeky as they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. With Sally and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're sitting in the studio, mics turned up loud, reminiscing about Super Friends, feeling so proud. But Sally loves Spider-Man, Boomer's for Hulk. They argue about Star Trek with passion and both. From Betamax tapes to their old D20s, Geeky geezers where the nostalgia flows. They got fans in the chat, from the young to the old, tuning in to hear stories that never get told. Talking Ghostbusters, Proton Packs, Toys in the Box, and Saturday mornings with cartoons that rocks. And Sally and Boomer, they're keeping it real. Geeky geezers with that old school feel. Oh, Geeky as they're living the dream. Talking comics and movies, they're busting the scenes. From Battlestar reruns to D&D lore, they're preaching the gospel of geek evermore. But Sally and Boomer, they'll never grow old. Geeky geezers with hearts made of gold. They're singing the blues for the games that they play, for the VHS tapes and the arcades that pray. But the spirits are young, though their hair's turning white. Geeky geezers keep the nerd fire alight, so tune in each week to the Geeky Geezer Show, where Patelli and Boomer let the good times flow. From X-Files to X-Men, they're dropping the news, singing praises of geek life with them old blues. Patelli and Boomer, forever they'll be Geeky Geezers living wild and free.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Geeky Geezers. I'm your host, Aged Boomer, and a Merry Christmas to y'all. Until, well, like I'll say Merry Christmas again next week too, because it'll still be the Christmas season. And I'd like to say hello to my co-host, Bob Papacelli here with the Santa Claus hat.
Hello, hello.
And to Netter of Netter's Network, also with a Santa Claus in that.
Good evening.
She's really bringing the Santa. She put up our Christmas tree today.
Yes, we have something about the outside lights. We haven't gotten to that yet, but we're gonna get to it before Christmas. But yeah,
you're gonna pull apart Griswold, light up with 1,000,000 lumens that can be seen from orbit.
We don't get ostentatious. Maybe we should, but yeah, it's here we are. It's a few days till Christmas, and what do we know? Is that how the old song goes, right?
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for, to tell you what we know, so that we all know something.
I know nothing.
Well, yeah, then listen up. We're going to tell you.
Holy cow, we got to look at the super chats. We'll start with the first one.
Hello, Geeky Geezers. Have a great stream tonight. Wishing everybody a very Merry Christmas. Thank you, Big Al. Big Al Presents.
What is going on with some gift giving goodness?
Yes, Jonathon Conroy. Thank you so much, my friends. Those gifted memberships went to Penny. Welcome to membership, and welcome back to membership, the Horror Cat Dad, Jason Fox of 540 Studios, Joe's Atmosphere, the Share Out the Stream King, and Suzanne. Welcome back. This is what I mean, keeping the family together and helping us grow. Thank you so much, Jonathon Conroy. You are one of the good ones. We're getting an unscripted raid from Connie Cleary is announcing there. I didn't catch it. Was it a big rant tonight?
No, it was a little more a somber, I might say, a more somber affair. But we can talk about it on the stream tonight. Just how some bad things happening, like in Australia. Apparently, there was an attack. Was that true?
Oh yeah.
I must have missed that one.
How do you remember the name of the location? Oh, Bondi. Bondi is where it happened. Bondi, the gun grabber. Yes.
Yikes.
The statist. Yeah, the two don't have anything to do with each other, but I think it's a wild coincidence.
Hello, smash that like and enjoy the show. Thank you, Jonathan Conroy. And deleted scenes, welcome. I had a burger earlier.
Salute to deleted scenes, as you said.
All right. Like, share, and subscribe.
Jay and Leanna. Hello, Jay and Leanna. Leanna went back to the hospital complaining with a lot of pain in her head. Oh, my goodness.
She's having so many struggles. We're really hoping for the best here. We really are. We're looking for a Christmas miracle there, my friend. Yeah. We really, really are.
Yeah, please, everyone, keep them in their thoughts and your prayers, too. Yeah.
Another way that you can directly impact a potential Christmas miracle, as Netter is pointing out, I'm trying to reach 100 members by the end of the year. Jonathan Conroy is definitely doing his part tonight. But
Jonathan Conroy was saying, I'm doing my part. Remember?
Yes, he absolutely is. He's like, come on, people, where y'all at? But I am trying to reach, I brought up the wrong one. Trying to make 100 members by the end of the year and 2,000 subscribers. So anything you guys can do to help me reach that goal, I will definitely appreciate.
We need about 30 more.
Yeah.
Getting there. We'll see what we can do throughout the week, and then come Friday, we'll see what happens.
Actually, it's probably more like 25 now, thanks to Jonathan.
There you go. We'll get there.
You were missing 40, and then you got one the other day, and now we just got 5 more.
Yeah, it's probably closer to 30. You're right. But, we're getting there. We are getting there.
30, 34.
Are you feeling Yulish? Because I watched both Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night this week.
You'll never know.
The two movies I should not have watched probably this week.
Oh, there you go. I haven't seen you in a while, my friend. Good to see you.
There, I said it. And I've seen it way too many times because I'm over. Oh, I've never seen it. Okay, let's watch it. It's like, no. It's a disturbing movie. The most disturbing Silent Dead Night, while all the killings are going on, you're looking at the shelves and you're seeing Muppets looking back at you because that was the era.
Yeah.
All the toys, like Castle Grayskull was on the shelf. The Job, Return of the Jedi, that was on the shelf of the toy store. I'm looking at all the toys. I'm recognizing all these my childhood.
Andrea Black, welcome. Good to see you. And, of course, Lady Mist, encouraging us with her emojis.
Thank you, Lady Mist.
Jay and Leanna says she had surgery and she came out fine. She's resting. Awesome.
Yep, I just saw it.
Hello, Jesse Guajardo.
Lester San Jose. Good to see you, my friend. Clicking the thumbs up for Boomer's channel. Right before resuming online school. I understand, man. You know who really understands that is Boomer. He's been going through that kind of stuff too.
Yes. Well, the weird thing is, you stop school, then you jump right into the holidays, and you get busy with other things. You understand? Like
I absolutely understand.
Check my Christmas list. Who hasn't been hit yet? Yes, so I got to make sure I get all that in. I think I've got mostly everybody so far, but audio was going in and out.
Your audio was for a little bit. It's better.
Am I sounding better now? I raised the mic a little bit. So, all right. But here we are. As always, we love to begin these streams with talking about the good old days.
Yes, we do.
And now I'm going to get into.
And for us, those good old days are far beyond the stars. That's where they're from.
I'm not sure if we did this once before. I know we had talked about this show when we talked about the how they were supposed to be doing a Buck Rogers movie, which, dude, that was like 5 years ago. Where's the movie?
I know, right?
Where is this movie? I swear, everything nowadays takes forever to get off the ground. It's like, we were growing up, it was like 2 years tops. And now it's like, this is ridiculous. It's Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, though. This was a TV show, also a motion picture, as it was put into theaters. The pilot was put in the theaters, right?
That's exactly right. Originally intended as a pilot for the show and meant to air on television, the movie was instead released theatrically in March of 79 as Buck Rogers in the 25th Century. The film made $21 million at the North American box
Not
office,
bad.
promoting Universal to prompting them to move ahead with a weekly series later that year. The film, which was also released internationally, featured all of the main protagonist characters who would appear in the weekly series, and it also included Princess Ardala and the planet Draconia and her henchman Kane. Of course, when that series was premiered on television, the theatrical film served as the pilot and was presented as a two-part opener entitled Awakening, Parts 1 and 2. Several scenes were edited, some to remove more adult dialogue in the film, including when Buck refers to Wilma as ballsy, and later when he says shit, and a scene in which Buck kicks Ardala's henchman Tiger Man where it would hurt the most.
Well, keep in mind that our Buck Rogers, I believe, is a 20th century man stuck in the future, correct?
Yes, and it's very much one of those. So just like you'd have with Steve Rogers being the man out of time, the man from 1940s coming into the modern world. Here you have a modern person from the 20th century, late 20th century, returning to Earth after 500 years. First, not realizing so much time had passed, and then, of course, using vernacular that was, everyone watching the show would understand, but of course, no one within the show would understand.
Exactly. Yeah. But like, I know I think in this movie, he mentions like either at some ball and he's like, hey, can you guys like put on some rock and roll? And she's like, what is that? Like, none of them knows what that is. And he's like, he has to go talk to the band.
And he has to explain it to the band, and they think they're getting, he's like, no, just let yourself go. And basically what he's describing to them is jazz. And
right.
When you realize the connection between jazz, rhythm and blues, you're like, yep, that's how you get rock and roll. That's absolutely true.
And let's see, let me move on here. So we have our leading lady here, who was played by, name escapes me at the moment. Hold on.
Erin Gray.
Erin Gray, who I knew from Silver Spoons later on, but
Yes.
This was her big thing. And in the movie version, they do this thing with all of these sexy women on these Buck Rogers lights,
Yes.
and she's one of them, and her hair's
Yes.
all tousled
So-
around. Yeah.
So it was her. It was the actress playing Ardala, a couple of other models, and they're in these very skimpy leotard type outfits, doing gestations and stuff on a. I'm not sure if it's glass. It must be glass.
It was, because apparently it got very
surface
hot.
with lights underneath. Yeah, and they got very hot, and they all complained about getting burned. They were going for a very James Bond kind of opening, and it kind of works for a theatrical release, not so well for a weekly television show.
No.
So they definitely changed the opening for the.
I gotcha. So he ends up in the future. The Earth has been through a bit of a turmoil since he left Earth. Was there another World War, I believe?
Yeah, so you get the impression that, and you find these things out as he does, that Earth has had some sort of a World War III, kind of that whole Charlton Heston Planet of the Apes kind of,
Yes.
You blew it up kind of thing. And of course, I very quickly responded to this character, because as he's portrayed in this movie and series, he's a Chicago boy. So he's singing Chicago, that toddlin' town, as he's returning home and stuff. And he had no idea that the idea of this was not supposed to be that he would be put into cryo freeze. This was an accident that happened, and his vessel went adrift, so he was presumed lost in space, which I know is a whole other series.
Okay.
But the point is,
And this picture is during talking to Buck, and Buck is behind her as well.
No, but that guy does kind of look like.
That's just how men look. Maybe it was the stunt double. They said we need an extra. Go over there. You know.
Yeah. You're going to be one of the soldiers. But yeah. So he doesn't even realize he's been frozen. He's found by a ship of the Draconian Empire, and they try to recruit him as a spy because they're coming to Earth to do some sort of a peace negotiation. There they are, the Draconians, the princess who represents some imperial leader.
And apparently her body's afraid of clothes.
Yes, her abdomen's just afraid of the dark.
I have a question. Okay, the Draconians. Is this an Earth colony or are these aliens that look human? That's my question.
That is a great question that is never truly answered. But if you base, I don't even want to get into the second season, but the second season starts to try to pivot the concept behind the show to a more Battlestar Galactica sort of storyline, searching for, in quotes, lost tribes of Earth. So the assumption is that, yes, at some point, Earth has been colonizing other planets. So it is entirely possible that shall we just say, an Eastern influenced government has begun an empire that ends up being adversarial with Earth. But that is not a certainty.
Is she trying to put the moves on Buck?
Yeah. She. The thing is, you get the impression she uses her appeal to make negotiations go as smoothly as possible.
You're not wimpy like most of these Earthmen we've been seeing, because of course in the future everyone's. I don't want to say it's like Demolition Man, the people of the future here, but they're very sort of. Is the word wound too tight, or they have their little utopia going, right, or something? They don't mess with. And he comes in here and he starts making his little jokes, and when he does his quarters up, he puts like a smiley face on like some kind of computer thing he has there, and he puts a plant in there, and they're like, a plant? Like they don't understand why he's putting a plant in the room, to liven it up, just.
Well, yeah, and what's great is that you get these moments where he gets things from some archive, right? To spruce up his place, and he is able to have a conversation with the head of the Earth Defense Directorate, who happens to be it seems to be a technocracy. It seems to be scientists mostly in charge,
right.
And he explains throughout, especially in the first episode, but in subsequent episodes, explaining what we know as very simple things, that make perfect sense to us, but make absolutely kind of like that scene in Sleeper with Woody Allen.
Is this called a Thunder Fighter? Is that what that is?
I actually don't know what the name of the ship. I didn't know it had a particular.
Well, that's what Big Al said. But Big Al had all the he probably had the technical manuals and whatnot that went with this. But
well, and of course you also have to know. Are we talking about this series, or are we talking about the book series that this was based on, Armageddon 2419 AD, which introduced the character of Anthony Buck Rogers.
So here we have Henry Silva. Do you know who he voiced on Batman the Animated Series?
If I was to guess, I would say Ra's al Ghul.
Nope, Bane.
Okay, I can see that too.
Bane.
Okay, sure.
Ra's al Ghul was voiced by David Warner.
Okay.
It was amazing the amount of actors they had on that. Paul Williams voiced the Penguin.
Yeah.
I got to do Batman the Animated Series for good old days someday.
Real quick, I want to bring up
what's this?
Nostalgic Pod Blast says trivia, which 007 villain actor is in the theatrical cut of this? That's a good question. I'm
007. Stromberg. Am I guessing right?
But the theatrical release of on March 30th of 1979 was 6 months before it was shown on NBC TV on September 20th of 1979. Yes. And unlike Star Wars, because of that early release before the series started, and because it, of course, became a series, unlike Star Wars did, they were able to get their 3 3/4 inch action figures to market in a good window to begin capitalizing on the popularity of the show. Now, those 3 3/4 inch action figures had better articulation than the 5 points of articulation Star Wars figures. They had rivets in the knees and in the elbows, which of course laid the groundwork for the G.I. Joe figures that would come later, also having swivel arms and multiple points of articulation.
Oh yeah, that's right. I had some of those. They were like little ball pins or whatever, right? And you could. I remember. I think I had a Buck Rogers figure actually.
Yep. The only reason that the G.I. Joe figures had slightly better articulation was because they had the those roller ball and rubber band interiors, which caused problems over time. However, these figures for Buck Rogers actually had better sculpts than what you would see later on in the G.I. Joes.
It was Dr. No, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Watchman. And Jesse keeps bringing up Duck Dodgers. Duck Dodgers was, of course, a spoof back in the day of
exactly
Buck Rogers. It'd be funny, though. I know they recently did that one, the Daffy Duck Porky Pig movie, The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Right.
They should do maybe a Duck Dodgers movie next. That'd be kind of funny, actually. So we had villains on the show besides just Kane. Who is this dude? He looks freaky.
Oh, that was a character from a 2-part episode of the series. I don't remember the name of the episode. He was one of the heavies, and he's a very sympathetic villain character because he is being blackmailed by the main Icky Bad. If he doesn't do what he's told, they're going to kill his family. So
I see.
It's one of those very interesting stories. However, if this is the episode that I'm thinking of, the I don't want to call her love interest, but the female guest star, Jamie Lee Curtis.
The plot to kill a city. Interesting. Oh, Buck Rogers got a love interest that episode, huh?
Oh, there was many female guest stars throughout the run of this series, including Jamie Lee Curtis and Marky Post.
Interesting. All right, so here we go. This dude, vampire? What is that?
Yes. So this was an alien creature called I believe it was called a Vorvon. And this particular episode was a direct, I don't know if you'd call it homage or pastiche of Dracula. And there's a lot of great Easter eggs, including the name of the ship that brings him to Earth being the same name as the ship that the Demeter, which was the ship that brought Dracula to England. One thing that my mother picked up on, she made a joke when we watched this that I didn't get until I was much older. You will notice that he's got big nails on his pinky and thumb. If he has nails like that on his other 3 fingers, they were not as pronounced. And the reason that's important is because they stand out when he puts his fingers up to Wilma's neck in a very tense scene. And I'll tell you that pinky nail sure looks like it's for another purpose that we can't talk about on YouTube, but it might explain why he looks so pale.
Oh my goodness. Erin Gray never looked better in her life right there. Look at that hair. That's some nice hair she's got going on there.
She liked to show her abdomen too. Well, I'm not going to say she liked to do it. The show liked to do it. She may not have liked it that much.
But let's see here, though. I don't know
Get
who
right
these
up.
are. Were they on the show? Are these also villains, or were they something else? I don't know. But
I don't remember this
look at the
one
dude
too
with the
well.
weird sunglasses and her. I wonder if that was a weekly thing. But I need to watch this show. I've watched the movie. The movie.
Yeah, so I had this on DVD, and unfortunately, the DVD collection had every episode, but they only had
The pilot movie.
no, it was the theatrical release version of it. They did not have the edited version because yes, they edited some things out of the theatrical trailer, but there was also this whole epilogue scene that they filmed specifically as a tie-in to start the series. That was completely absent. So I ended up having to get the Blu-ray in order to have that completeness,
The
because
complete.
that's just how I am, you know.
Yeah, there we go. But let's see. Moving on to who is this little fella here?
Yeah, that's Felix Cilia. That's Tweaky,
Who was voiced by Mel Blanc, correct?
voiced by Mel Blanc, exactly.
Of Bugs Bunny fame, correct?
Well, of many things. He was a very prolific voice actor. You would know him as the voice of Yosemite Sam, and a lot of the voices in the Warner Brothers cartoons.
Not the only robot on the show. Bucko also had like a personal computer that talked to him too, right?
Well,
Yeah.
there was a relationship between these two robots, kind of similar to R2D2 and C3PO.
Right.
Oh, Dr. Theopolis.
Dr. Theopolis, you kind of see him in this picture. You notice it looks like he's wearing a necklace.
Right.
That was a support that carried this circular.
Would they argue with each other?
Disc. Not really.
Okay.
It was very clear that unlike C3PO, Dr. Theopolis, which I guess, an AI can be a doctor in the 25th century, he was very Spock-like logical, and so did not understand many of the jokes that Tweaky made. Tweaky was very receptive to learning the language and mores and humor of Buck Rogers. So Tweaky was the only one that kind of like got that aspect of Buck. So he would say things that nobody else really understood, and Buck would, be like, "He gets me. He gets me."
And of course, we had a guest appearance. Someone had mentioned. Buster
Yes,
Crabbe,
yes, we
Flash
did.
Gordon. Flash Gordon.
There is no. He played Buck Rogers.
Oh,
originally,
maybe that's what I'm confused by.
He was the original Buck Rogers in the original serials.
Oh,
And there is a great line, or maybe I am mistaken. Maybe it was Flash Gordon.
yeah, because my dad always said that some guy came up and says, "Who are you?" My name is Flash Gordon. It was like a reference to, of course, the other big sci-fi serial from back in the day, right? Was Flash Gordon. Yes,
What's great though is he's got this great line. So one of the things that Buck's got going for him is he was an Air Force pilot before he went into NASA and started doing space. So he's got Buster Crabbe. Yes. Oh, he played both.
He played both characters. That's interesting. Okay, good to know. Okay, that's why we're getting confused. Okay.
So yes. Buck Rogers. In fact, this is established in the theatrical release. The Draconians are just wiping out the Earth Federation's fighter crafts, and he says your problem is you're relying on your computers. You've got to disengage the computers. And when he starts doing that, he ends up, showing that he knows what he's doing, and ends up saving Wilma's life and some of the other pilots. And so they recruit him to, help train other pilots. And so in this particular episode, he's going to be on a mission with Buster Crabbe here. And he's like, yeah, my flying's a little unorthodox. He goes, I think I've seen it all, son. I was doing this before you were born. And I'm like, that's a great line.
That's funny.
And he's like, oh, you'd be surprised.
Gary Coleman showed up on the show.
Yes, Gary Coleman plays some sort of a child prodigy.
Oh well, I thought he was gonna play the devil.
No, it wasn't like that. No, but he plays this child prodigy who, like Buck, he is like I think he also was from the 20th century, and somehow I don't even remember what his story was, but he too like remembers things that
I see
Buck knew that no one else did.
Okay, so moving on to what do we have left here? There's this. Is this the second season?
Yes. So when you see Wilma go from wearing, tight-fitting jumpsuits to looking like
a
flight attendant in a See You Next Tuesday cap, that's the second season. Yeah, that's
what is with these great 70s sci-fi shows that have the bad second season? This is like a thing, or like the not as good second season, I should say. Like Battlestar Galactica, people didn't like the second season of that much. Even Space 1999, which I do like, I think the first season is much better than the second. It's like, does it get popular and then the executive says change things?
Yeah. So there is a all stupidity is based on a kernel of intelligence, right? There is something that says, look, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. People will lose interest. You got to change it up. But you don't change it up so damn much it doesn't look like the thing anymore. And that's basically what they did here. They changed it up so much it became a completely different show. Dr. Hewer, I believe was his name, left the show, and they brought in Isaac Asimov over here. I forget what his name is. They brought in a captain of the ship. Like I said, this is all they move Star it to Trek. A ship. Very Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica type of thing. Go out, find the lost tribes of Earth. I think the best thing to come out of the second season was Tom Christopher playing an alien character called Hawk. That was actually something I actually did.
Don't tell me Hawk could shapeshift.
No.
Okay,
his hair was feathers.
Yeah, that's how he was a bird, in quotes.
Are you kidding me?
I kid you not, no.
Yeah, it looked like a swim cap that was made of feathers.
Yep, exactly.
All right, but yeah, because like on Space 1999 season 2, you got this one lady that could transform into anything. She was an alien they picked up, and she joined the crew, and I think it was kind of, they were trying to get on the trend of Wonder Woman. How Wonder Woman was so popular, they wanted like a superpowered female on the crew. That's what they did. Except her thing was she could shapeshift, so she could turn into a tiger, which came in handy actually when they went up against some nasty aliens. She could turn into like a bear or something and try to attack it for them. But
I think the real problem these days with a sexy female character that can shapeshift into animals is then suddenly you get all the furries following the show. And then,
well, that wasn't a thing back in the 70s. At least it wasn't public knowledge.
They kept.
I'm not saying it
like
didn't exist. I'm saying
that
come on.
Keep your kinks in your own bedroom, people. Marc Leonard was the guy who could remove his head. He was there was a story where there was this ambassador who had the ability to remove his head, and in so doing, he caused like some local aliens to like think he was a god or something like that. But yeah, Marc Leonard, of course, of Star Trek fame, who played Sarek, and the first time we see the Romulan commander, and of course he was the first Klingon we saw in the motion picture, at least that style of Klingon.
Oh, it was Catherine Shield that played Maya, the shapeshifter in Space 1999. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Nostalgia Planet. No, I mean, I'm not picking on season 2 of Space 1999. I just thought season 1 was better. For starters, there were characters that disappeared from season 1 to season 2, like I always liked the computer scientist, and I didn't see him when I was watching season 2. But that was a real problem. And for a brief period of time, they changed the voice of Tweaky.
Mel Blanc was, and they didn't even get somebody that even sounded like him, not even close. And it was so jarring. And that was probably the biggest thing that fans like reacted to.
Wouldn't it make more sense just to bring another robot in and like Tweaky's out of commission than when they brought Mel Blanc back?
Well, they did bring in another robot, one that looked like Treadwell from Star Wars, who had like this very Aurak type attitude. Aurak from Blake 7.
That's funny.
And a very superiority complex, but which was the and you'll also notice that now, of course, Tweaky is not wearing the harness for Dr. Theopolis, because Dr. Theopolis, of course, leaves the show too, which begs the question, why is Tweaky even there? His whole point was being a so-called ampuquad. He was, the robot's name was Crichton. Yeah, he was absolutely insufferable. Oh, that's right. The name of the ship was the Searcher. Thank you, David.
So it basically became like
Star. The name of the robot on Red Dwarf.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I guess it's a popular name for robots, but yeah, I don't know why Tweaky was there other than, just to be Luke's R2D2 sidekick,
So that was Buck Rogers. It went off the air shortly after season 2 aired. They only made a few episodes, right? And then did the ratings go down, or was it an expense?
Oh, yes. They definitely did go down. And then they changed the time of the show and stuff to a time when no one wanted to tune in. It was just bad all around. It didn't work out.
See, what happened back in the day, kids, is that when TV shows were really cool and popular, the network would sabotage it, and then it would go off the air after a season.
Well, nothing has changed because the streaming channels do the same thing.
They do. It's like we've regressed, actually. Yeah.
Yep.
That's why I thought the X-Files was so bizarre when it came on, because I'm like, this show's never going to stay on the air, and then it had 9 seasons.
I mean, I don't know what's the other option. The other option is something like Smallville that just keeps going and going, and you're like, would you stop already? Damn! How long are these kids going to be in high school? It's already been 10 years.
Did I ever tell you that my late father, because he would watch Smallville? I got him into Smallville because he was, of course, fan of Superman growing up, because he used to listen to the radio show back in the day when he was a child. And so we were watching Smallville, and eventually, as the seasons went on, he's like, when's he putting the suit on? He started getting impatient.
Yeah.
We get to the end of season 9 where, like, I think he gets stabbed with kryptonite, left for dead, and Dad's like, right. I'm out. He's like, he was waiting. And then we get to season 10. Dad, there's some really cool stuff going on in season 10. Is he wearing the suit yet? Well, no. Then never mind. That's what he said. Well, he's wearing a proto suit. It's like a jacket that has the symbol on it. It's like, oh, come on.
Finally, in the last episode, he pulls open his shirt and you see the S underneath.
Oh, I wanted at least like a few episodes at the end with him just being Superman going up against Michael Rosenbaum's Lex. I just wanted to see like a classic conflict, Superman conflict with all those characters.
I am still holding out hope that after, all the crap settles from the Warner Brothers sale, that Tom Welling and Michael Rosenbaum's plan for an animated, continuation of Smallville happens.
Oh my goodness.
I would totally be up for that.
Dude, you're lucky I'm not getting into a rage right now. We got people in the chat bashing X-Files. Quiet you.
Well,
it's one of my favorite it's in my top 10 favorite television shows of all time.
It's kind of like Buck Rogers. I love Buck Rogers' first season. The second season, I barely remember.
Season 3 of the X-Files was peak television. I don't want to hear it.
But there was 25 seasons of it, so there was bound to be some.
There was nothing like it at the time. Maybe Millennium, but that was another story. All right. But we have some bad news, unfortunately, continuing on from this. Exactly. We have, unfortunately, a death this week.
Yeah.
Say his name.
Gil Gerard, who played Buck Rogers, passes away at 82. Wow.
Jill, correct? Or did you say
Is
Gil?
it pronounced? I thought it was Gil.
It probably is Gil. I'm the
Yeah.
one who's wrong. That's why I had you say it, and then I couldn't quite
Yeah.
make out what you said. All right. Gil Gerard, the American actor who starred as the titular hero in the 1979 NBC sci-fi series Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, died Tuesday after a battle with cancer. He was 82. Gerard's death was confirmed by his wife, Janet. I hate it when I lose my spot. Okay. In a Facebook post Tuesday evening, earlier this morning, Jill, my soulmate, lost his fight with a rare and viciously aggressive form of cancer, read Janet's post. From the moment when we knew something was wrong to his death this morning was only days. No matter how many years I got to spend with him, it would have never been enough. Hold the ones you have tightly and love them fiercely. That's a great sentiment. I'm glad he had a happy marriage, it sounds like. That's good.
Yeah.
Gerard also released his own statement on Facebook Thursday night, which he asked his wife to share after he died. My life has been an amazing journey. The opportunities I've had, the people I've met, and the love I have given and received made my 82 years on the planet deeply satisfying, read Gerard's statement. My journey has taken me from Arkansas to New York to Los Angeles and finally to my home in North Georgia with my amazing wife, Janet, of 18 years. It's been a great ride, but inevitably one that comes to a close as mine has. Don't waste your time on anything that doesn't thrill you or bring you love. See you out somewhere in the cosmos. Yeah, I don't think anyone could say it better than that, huh?
Yep.
So yeah, rest in peace. And yeah, so now, as we say, we always try to tie it, but yeah, moving on to another death, and this one we kind of were following, weren't we?
Yeah, Tony Geary. This one, yeah, this was just as, and right around the same time too, as Buck Rogers was popular. Tony Geary was real big on the daytime dramas. General Hospital. He played the you may remember the whole Luke and Laura craze. Yeah, he played Luke Spencer. Character who let's just say he had a heck of a reform arc. He came in as a villain and fell in love with his victim, and she had Stockholm syndrome, and they became this wonderfully romantic character that anyone who followed him from the beginning was like, okay. But it was a big deal, and he was really well known for that. And I mean, he's been in a lot of other things too, but that's where a lot of his fans got to know him.
Yeah. So 8-time daytime Emmy winner Anthony Geary, beloved to generations of years, an iconic portrayal of General Hospital's Luke Spencer, passed away on December 14th, age 78. His death was the result of complications from a scheduled operation 3 days earlier. Oh. Weeks before his death, Geary had been seen watching former co-star Jeannie Francis' appearance on Maurice Bernard's State of Mind podcast. Geary's husband, Claudio Gama, posted the video. It really made Tony very happy. Gama's caption read, "He told me those were two lovely and talented people, great friends, and I miss them." Yeah. So
of course, Jeannie Francis, the Laura of Luke and Laura, who in real life was married to Jonathan Frakes, that you might know as Will Riker from Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I always liked Riker. I know some people don't, but I
not only did I like his character, I liked Jonathan Frakes personally. Met him at a convention. Heck of a nice guy.
Struck me as down to earth from what I've seen in interviews. Yeah. Geary's work reshaped daytime television influence will be felt for generations. That's what it says. Yeah. So I mean, you catch him in the repeats. Definitely check him out. But I bet Sartorial Game might have some things to say about this, right? So
yeah, he was one of the people that sent this one to me too.
So move on to this. Was, in my opinion, I missed this last week because I'm in denial because I feel like I've been punched so many times for things I used to like, and I'm watching this, and I watched the trailer for this. Let me read this article. Let me go ahead and read the article, and I'm going to get into my own thoughts on this. Now we're into games, just so you know. And let's just say for the first time, I wish I had a modern console, because okay. Head of studio at Crystal Dynamics, Scott Amos, said that the upcoming Tomb Raider Catalyst will be the biggest entry in the series to date. He also claims it is a complete adventure from top to bottom, so people won't need to know Lara Croft's prehistory to enjoy it. At the Game Awards 2025, Crystal Dynamics showcased 2 new games for the series: Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis, a remake of the original game scheduled for release in 2026, and Tomb Raider Catalyst, a completely new entry to the franchise, launching in 2027. In a virtual Q&A event afterwards, attended by Games Radar, Amos explained how Catalyst will fit into the long-running series. For longtime fans, it's one of those moments where this is the furthest point in Lara Croft's career. Amos explains this is really where she is right now. Everything else is her history. This is interesting to me because the big Lara Croft games in more recent years, they were like her origin story, right?
Yeah.
And I got kind of tired seeing the young, unsure of herself Lara. I missed the full of herself Lara, right?
Right.
The adventurer I knew from all those games growing up. And I watched this trailer for Catalyst, right? And you see this old woman, and I think she's the villain of the game, and she's going, "You survived the trials of Atlantis and the Great Tiger Circle or Great Dragon, something like that." She's saying these things. You became a legend, but it's time for legends to end, or something. It's time for your legend to end. And then Lara Croft comes, and there are a bunch of looks like mercenaries around this villain, and suddenly Lara Croft just starts punching and shooting and killing them all, and she puts her gun up to the woman's face and says, "I'm just getting started." That's what she says.
Yeah.
And it's the old school Lara Croft. I mean, I think she looks beautiful. I think this is a good look for the new Lara Croft. A little more mature than I've seen her in past games, but I like it. I'm shocked. I'm like, do I have reason to be hopeful that my heroine is back and that they're just going to do justice to her? Could this be?
Could be.
Do you think someone over there got the notes? Because it's Crystal Dynamics after all. I don't know if I completely trust them, but maybe someone chomping a cigar said, "Look, just give the people what they want and knock it off with the nonsense." And look at that smirk she has on her face. That's what I want to see. I want to see my female James Bond / Indiana Jones. That's what I want to see. I want to see her back. I want to see her kicking butt and taking names. And I never thought I'd see her again. I thought it was done, and here she is in a new game. In fact, 2 new games, because one's a remake of the original. They're doing yet another remake of the original, but with all the new technology, maybe it's time for a remake of the original game. So I'm not necessarily against that either. So yeah. Geek Flag says the modern Tomb Raider game was good. I like it. Still replay it sometimes. The second one was okay. Third one was enough. That's the impression I got. And I have those games, by the way, because I never thought. My opinion of the first Tomb Raider game was it didn't feel like a Tomb Raider game, but I thought it, on its own merits, it was still good. They kept trying to play up that it was a feminist thing. That was nonsense. You guys were doing this before any of that tropes versus whatever women in games happened. I think what it was they had the Uncharted games were very popular, which was another adventure series, and I think they were trying to make Lara Croft more like that. But what I did find interesting about the rebooted series was it was all about survival. They call it the survival series. Like Lara Croft is stuck with no, like in here she has her 2 guns and all this equipment and stuff. She doesn't have those in these prequel games. Like she's having to survive through her own skills and stuff. You got to hunt deer and stuff in it, though, which was kind of neat.
That is kind of cool, actually.
But then she would moan, "Oh, I'm sorry," or something. But then she would have to eat the deer to survive. It's like, stop apologizing. Stop wondering if the man the evil thug you're in front of you, the mercenary, does he have a family? I don't want to hear that crap. These are bad guys. Kill them. Okay, it's like no interest in Tomb Raider. Well, I don't know. I am looking forward to this. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is a return to form. It looked like it was from the both of the trailers for both games I saw. They both looked on point. I like the new look of the character. It's very reminiscent of the old character. Actually, it's just that she's even a little more mature than I've seen her. So I'm okay with this, and she's got the 2 guns. So what more can I ask for? So we'll see. And some people are, and of course the Wakosos were going nuts over this, right?
Yeah,
because they didn't like the fact that they kind of brought her back. This is another game story. I won't spend too much on time on this, but this is a game coming out called Lords of the Fallen 2, and basically the producer says, yes, Lords of the Fallen 2 will have attractive female characters and revealing outfits.
Yes.
Which you haven't seen at least a Western developer say. Like, they're all apologetic, and I said no. Recently, CI Games presented an all-new trailer for Lords of the Fallen 2 at the Game Awards, unveiling more of the game's backstory and setting. It was lapped up by Souls-like fans worldwide. In a post on social media, CI Games CEO and the lead of the studio, Marc Malnekoff, reverted to this rhetoric about games needing to avoid political agendas. He stated in clear terms that Lords of the Fallen 2 slated for 2026 will feature attractive female characters wearing revealing outfits.
Yep.
And in recent posts on social media, Marc Malnekoff, the CEO of CI Games, revealed some lore about the studio and creation of Lords of the Fallen. Many have asked why the game initially had body type AB. Hexworks started early 2020 as an autonomous studio owned by CI Games. Early on, political correctness and filtering meant not every decision reached me on time. I got a lot more involved in late 2024 and now act as head of studio alongside the CEO role. Okay, so by the time these decisions were made, he couldn't reverse them. Okay, so things are very different now. And the studio got fully integrated. We reverted a lot of the wrong decisions, and we'll continue improving. Lords 2 is being built on real player feedback, and it's crystal clear in the last two trailers. So good on you. This is good news. Some good gaming news this week. So here we go.
It's about time.
Oh no, exploitation, the horror. I'm sure the men will look attractive too. One of the things I notice about the ugliness
and
of
women
a lot of
like to play attractive characters too.
Yes.
You know, when men play male characters, they don't like to play ugly ones.
Well, I noticed when they started ugling up a lot of the women characters, the men also look kind of gross looking too. I noticed this, like they were not the best looking, and it's like,
and this is why I feel like the people that are making these games are just a bunch of people that were, not popular in school for various reasons, and are now taking it out on everything, basically.
Yeah. Well, this is the whole thing, Geek. Like they always picked on Lara Croft for her outfits. She never was that revealing in her outfits. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just ridiculous. Oh, but there's some bad news coming up too.
Yeah.
Video game hardware and physical software sales this year had the worst November since 1995. Do you remember 1995? Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. I think that was the final big year for those two. In fact, was the Saturn already out? Saturn might have come out, yeah. But that was the... I don't know if the original PlayStation was out yet. But that was the last year I had the Super Nintendo as a mainstay console. I moved on to the Nintendo 64 in 1996. So, yeah, this is not good considering that there are a lot more gamers now than there were back in 1995. Video game hardware and physical software sales just had the worst November since 1995 here in the United States. That's according to the latest United States video game market report from industry group Circana, with director Matt Piscatella revealing that 1.6 million units of hardware and a 14% spending decline in physical software led to the worst November in consumer video game spending since 1995. It's important to note that Piscatella explicitly cites 1995 as the year this kind of tracking began. Monthly hardware spending dropped by 27% compared to 2024, down to $695 million, which Piscatella calls the lowest video game hardware spending total for November month since the 455 million reached during November 2005 tracking period in his highlights thread on Blue Sky. However, when you look at the unit sales rather than spending totals, the 1.6 million hardware units sold during November 2025 across all platforms is the lowest total for November since 1995. And I want you to keep something in mind too when he says this. It wasn't that the sales in 1995 were low. It's just that gaming just became a lot more popular when the new consoles got released the next year. Do you understand? Like the original PlayStation, the Nintendo 64 came out later on. So I think this sounds terrible, actually.
I like Horror Cat Dad saying Super NES is still his favorite console of all time.
It's one of mine too. I still like the GameCube, but Super Nintendo is a great console. But that's especially, they said it was especially surprising considering that Black Friday is in November, a popular consuming holiday in the United States. That said, the PlayStation 5 was November's best-selling hardware in both units sold and dollar sales. Yeah, you know why it was? Because they're the only company that did discounts. But keep in mind, their discounts was sort of making up for the cost increases they had to do, earlier this year. But the first time this has occurred since the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 in June. Switch 2 ranked second in both categories last month. In terms of physical software sales, November spending fell 14% compared to last November, an all-time low for that month since tracking began in 95. Piscatello says, however, video game content spending grew by 1% compared to a year ago. I want to bring off the skinny from what I'd heard, though. From what I'd heard, for this report said, the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2 combined sold fewer units than the Nintendo Switch did a year ago in November. Now, why does that sound funny to you? It sounds funny to me because the Nintendo Switch 2 is a new console. It should be the in-demand thing. And the fact that it, with the Switch 1, not by itself, both of them sold fewer units than a year ago, makes me think that the Switch 2 is not doing as well as previously boasted, but I guess time will tell. I don't know. Have you heard anyone wanting a Switch 2 for Christmas? Has this been a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, well, I certainly haven't, but then again, it's not my wheelhouse, so.
Well, I don't know. I thought the kids might have wanted it.
Who knows?
Let me see. In some quarters, beauty lend weight to capitalism, therefore it's bad. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. That was from prior article.
Oh yeah, but that's actually an interesting insight. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think people hate Nintendo now. I guess, but I also think part of it is people don't have any money. I think, and I think consoles are a lot more expensive. I mean, you were able to get a Nintendo Switch with Mario Kart bundle years ago at Black Friday for $299.99. Now, if you want to get the new Switch 2 with a Mario Kart, it's going to be $499.99. The PlayStation 5 is more expensive than the PlayStation 4 was, and I have to tell you, the Xbox has just gone through the roof. It's ridiculous. I feel like Microsoft doesn't want you buying that console, but I don't know. I think it's worrying, and I think part of the reason why these consoles have got more expensive is because of all the RAM shortages and other things, right?
There's probably something in that. Yeah. I mean, obviously, when things get more expensive, they're going to pass those prices along to you. They never pass the savings along to you, but they pass the increased prices along to you.
Yes. Okay. I actually did play X-Men Legends at someone's house, so that was the only exception. Oh, you're talking about X-Men Legends is old.
Yeah.
It's legendary.
Legend, wait for it, dairy.
Yes, okay. Anyway, here we go. That's why I'm moving back to Steam on my PC. Well, speaking of Steam, thank you, Horror Cat Dad. The Steam Deck, one of the cheaper models is being discontinued of the Steam Deck. The LCD Steam Deck is done. The most affordable Steam Deck, the $399 LCD model, is not available in the US, and according to Steam Deck site, it won't be coming back. Underneath the listings for various models, the note says, we are no longer producing the Steam Deck LCD 256GB model. Once sold out, it will no longer be available, and while it's no longer in stock on the U.S. site, Valve's decision to phase out the Steam Deck LCD is disappointing. That means the most affordable Steam Deck is now the 512GB OLED model, OLED, like your big TV,
right?
Which costs $549, quite a bit more than the former entry level version. We reached out for Valve for comment, but have yet to hear back. Without an official explanation for the company, we're left to speculate why the Steam Deck LCD was discontinued, and hails at Windows Central suggests rising RAM and storage prices, thanks AI, have made it difficult to continue offering a handheld at that price point. I think that's correct. That's what people have been speculating, that all the RAM being gobbled up, we're not going to bother producing this cheaper console when the cost of RAM is going up. We're just going to put it in the
Well, I'm also going to say this, something I said about the Steam Deck before. I don't understand why it exists. You know, Horror Cat dads like me, we use Steam on our PCs.
Okay.
Why do I need this?
There's a problem going on with PC gaming, though. I read a report that apparently affordable graphics cards are becoming a thing of the past.
Oh, yeah. Well,
This is
for the same
another thing.
reason, probably.
Yes. So, because it used to be people would do that. So, nothing's cheap now.
No.
I guess go out and find an old CRTV and track down a used NES. You'll be in, just pretend
yeah.
like you're living, or maybe it's an Atari 20. Actually, you can get an Atari, an old Atari that you can hook up to your HD TV, right? The 7800
Oh,
plus
sure.
that looks like Pac-Man. You can play Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You can pretend because I'm telling you, it's like the Eloy with their ancient books. We're going to be playing ancient games
Right.
because nobody can afford the new consoles.
Exactly.
I do think AI has a lot to do with it. I don't think it's the only thing, but oh no. Do we want to move on to this?
We can sum it up very, very quickly. There's not much to say about this.
Well,
guess
no.
what? James Gunn has decided that he's going to make sure that whether or not you think that the Superman movie made money and made a profit or did well, and whether or not you think Supergirl's going to do well, he's going to make sure that he cuts his potential audience in half. He's going to make sure that half the voting population of this country has nothing to do with his next film.
Now, I there's a lot to this article. Now, of course, this says rumor, but let me read to it because this is from people who have seen stuff on this. All right, so let's get into this. This is from Cosmic Book News. Surprise, surprise, new details from a reported Lanterns teaser screening are raising eyebrows and reinforcing concerns surrounding James Gunn's woke DCU, which leans heavily into divisive political territory. Now, the only reason I think this could bear some credence is because it's happened before. It happened with that Watchmen series. It's happened on other HBO shows. So let's see. According to a description shared by someone who attended a recent event in Mexico City, the HBO series positions its villains as right-wing extremists. Yeah. Why aren't its villains aliens, evil aliens, wanting to do bad things? Wouldn't that make more sense? What is this?
No, he's got a message he wants to push.
Is this supposed to be Green Arrow, Green Lantern, but with two Green Lanterns instead of the Green Arrow bugging Hal Jordan? Well, what is this? This is just.
And considering that it was supposed to be Hal Jordan was supposed to be conservative to the liberal Oliver Queen.
Yeah.
I don't. This, but you remember, this is James Gunn movie, produced by James Gunn, directed by James Gunn. Pushing James Gunn's message.
All right, so per the recent teaser, the footage is described as a very grounded and realistic, closer in tone to True Detective Season 2 than a traditional superhero series. Stop right there.
Yeah.
True Detective Season 2 was a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming from someone who loved True Detective Season 1. Season 3 was okay. Season 4 I heard was a nightmare, which I don't even want to touch how bad it was. But Season 2 was confusing as all get out. I remember there was one scene where there's like on episode 6, and I'm like, what are they trying to solve? Was there a murder? I didn't remember the details of the case at that point. And then some guy comes out from the sewers and a bunch of bad guys around. I'm like, is this guy important? Is he like a corrupt police officer, or is it something? I couldn't follow the show. True Detectives was one of these television series that I thought had a brilliant idea that basically got completely fumbled by HBO. The idea was you would have a season. It was an anthology series, but each season would be a different story with different actors and characters. You understand?
Sure.
And they would get a different showrunner each season. So like the first season was like a murder thing going on in the South, and then like another season might be something else. Like in season 2 of this, I think it was taking place out in California. But it just was not, no. Anyway, let me go on to this article. But don't be using Season 2 of True Detective as a benchmark for anything. It was not good.
I know.
It had great actors. It had Vince Vaughn and Colin Farrell. I like them. And they were giving it their all, but it still wasn't a good show. It's just... Lanterns is also being compared to HBO's Watchmen, which... Okay.
Oh, great.
Have fun there. Which was also developed by Damon Lindelof. The comparison appears intentional, signaling a serious, gritty approach marked by heavy atmosphere and subdued pacing. This is a space opera show.
Yep.
Are they going to set it like in the American South, and they're not going to be wearing Green Lantern? I don't understand this. Okay, visually, the show reportedly looks unreal in a good way, which dense photography and oblique realistic aesthetics reminiscent of Mayor of Easttown. While the production quality sounds high, the thematic direction is where controversy starts. No, I want to say that it doesn't sound like they're wanting to do like a Green Lantern series. It's you've not seen these types of HBO shows that I'm talking about, these gritty crime series they've done on occasion. That's what this sounds like, but that's not what Green Lantern is.
I know.
Am I wrong here? Okay.
Again, this is another example of a bunch of morons who have been given an opportunity to work with a franchise, but it's not what the story they want to tell. So they're going to warp it to tell the story they want to tell, to do the show they want to do.
Look, I'm sure there's plenty of stuff that DC owns, especially if you go into Vertigo, that would give you your more gritty crime thing if you want to do that instead. That's not Green Lantern. That's okay. One of the most discussed elements is Hal Jordan's Green Lantern suit, which is said to be fully practical and highly detailed, black, green, and white with gold accents, described as quote-unquote medieval and strange, intentionally unlike past comic or film designs.
Oh, that's brilliant. Intentionally different from the thing we're supposed to be adapting. That always works so well.
This doesn't sound like a Green Lantern suit. Okay, the suit reportedly incorporates what looks like an actual medieval breastplate, along with leather jackets and gear stored in Hal's closet.
Oh my God.
When he finally appears, he does so wearing a mask, further emphasizing the grounded, almost law enforcement aesthetic.
How does a mask law enforcement? No. I think we're having some problems with the idea of law enforcement wearing masks.
Notably, there is very little ring usage shown in the footage. Yeah, because that costs money.
Right.
I'm sorry. Suggesting the show may downplay classic Green Lantern constructs in favor of realism. Hal's suit is also compared to the alternative Injustice suit.
Wait a minute. They're looking for realism in a show about space police. The hell is wrong with these people?
I don't understand. This is supposed to be, they need to be thinking more along the lines of Star Wars or Buck Rogers or something like that. Not this. I don't understand this. The biggest talking point comes from the villains. This is where it goes. The antagonists are reportedly teased as right-wing extremists, described as abandoned and radicalized. Are these like alien right-wing extremists, like is like half their face white and the other face black, and but it's on the wrong side, like in Star. I don't understand this.
Yeah.
When asked whether characters like Atrocitus or Black Hand were involved, the response was, "We don't know who those are." I'm sorry. No, okay. No, the response suggests that the closest visual comparison was cemetery imagery, not cosmic threats. What? For critics of Gunn's DC universe, this reinforces a growing belief that political messaging is being prioritized over classic DC mythology.
You think?
Worth a mention is that Tom King is also developing Lantern.
Oh, great. Even better. It just keeps getting better and better the more you read.
Of course, the conservatives were also responsible for outing Gunn's disturbing tweets that led to the Disney firing years ago. Yeah, I get that.
Were they?
It was some guy who they say was on the right.
I mean, do you really need to have a political angle to out somebody making?
Was it that guy that got into trouble
tweets
on Piers Morgan recently? I don't know. I'm not going to mention his name on here, but the teaser reportedly hints that Jon Stewart cannot become a Green. Yeah, for starters, Jon Stewart, I don't consider that a left-wing character, but maybe I haven't read the comics. He seemed very like. He comes from the military. He was a Marine.
I was going to say he started out as a Marine, but apparently all you got to do is darken somebody's skin, and suddenly they're left wing.
Well, we don't know how his character. They got to vote
Democrat, or they're not that skin color. Apparently.
To be fair, we don't know how his character will be portrayed on the series, but it does give me pause because I'm not quite getting this. Okay, but apparently, listen to this though. The teaser reportedly hints that Jon Stewart cannot become a Green Lantern unless Hal Jordan hands down the role, leading to speculation that there may be only one ring pass between the two characters. This makes no sense to me.
Right.
it's you can have Hal Jordan and John Stewart both be Green Lanterns. It's not a shared ring. It's not a ring you get passed down. That's not how this works. Yeah, significant departure from established lore. Why do we need to tie anything to that? And possible backing up claims that if Hal dies, which would pass the ring to Hal's going to die on this show.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Having one ring between the two would obviously also save on visual effects costs. Like, I wouldn't even have a problem if they had wanted to make John Stewart the main Green Lantern, because they could have had Hal Jordan be the Lantern from the past, like from the 1950s, if we're going in canon, But I don't get this. Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan is said to deliver a strong performance, but the structure raises question on how much room the series leaves for the Lanterns to grow. More rumors. Take these with a grain of salt. Okay, so maybe it's all fake, but I don't know. But additional rumors have said the younger John Stewart falls in love with the older Zoe, Porna Jonathon, and that her husband is a white conservative, which fits in with the rumors above.
Oh, for crying!
What is going on here? Wait a minute. There are also claims that the reason Hal and John show up on the Heartland of America is to investigate the death of Green Lantern Alan Scott. Who was Alan Scott in Green Lantern? Was he the original?
Alan Scott was the Golden Age Green Lantern. The one that the comics made gay.
Yes. So what happens to a gay man in the Heartland of America surrounded by right-wing extremists?
Oh, here we go. They're doubling down on that. Congratulations.
We can also add that
I'm done. I'm out. I will not be watching this. And if you are an actual DC comic fan and you go to see this, you're part of the problem.
Well, this is a television series. They're not going to put this on the big screen because no one's going to pay money to see this on the screen. But if they're subscribed to Max, they might say, "Oh well, it's on there, right?" Listen to the music choice. Music choice races Alvarez, adding to the grounded and arguably provocative tone. The teaser features "Highway Patrolman" by Bruce Springsteen.
Another flaming leftist. Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Lantern star Kyle Chandler as Al Jordan, with Aaron Pierre as John Stewart, with Porna Jonathon as Zoe, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner will be on this. Look at that.
Oh, they're bringing Nathan Fillion back again?
How come Guy Gardner gets a ring, but John Stewart has to have his pass from Hal Jordan? This doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I've never heard of this before. This doesn't make any sense.
The only thing
and because Alan Scott never got. Oh, you say he got it from Hal? Yeah, no, that's true. Stewart got his ring from Hal Jordan initially.
Okay, would it make sense if John Stewart was maybe local law enforcement investigating this case, and then Hal Jordan comes as Green Lantern? They work together. Hal Jordan gets killed by the end of the series, and hence John Stewart then gets the ring, and then hence why this show is titled Lanterns. Because
if they go that route, though, they're definitely giving up any potential for ever doing a Parallax story, which I can understand.
That costs money.
I can understand why they would do that, because the Green Lantern movie kind of screwed that up. But
listen to me, right-wing extremists cost a lot less than doing fancy CG. Okay, I'm just saying. You can have right-wing extremists, and the actors will be happy for the work. See, so everyone.
That's awesome. Let's cheap this out as much as we friggin' can.
Sounds terrible. Again, these are rumors, so maybe take it with a grain of salt. But frankly, I never liked the idea when I was hearing about this, how they were saying, it's going to be like True Detective with the Green Lantern Corps. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
No.
Supergirl really looks like a retread of Star-Lord. Don't get us. We tackled Supergirl last week. That was just.
How did that go for you, tackling Supergirl?
There's a better Green Lantern series. Yeah, well, I don't know. I think you're thinking of the what was it, the animated one they did, which they actually canceled. They did an animated Green Lantern around the time they were doing the Ryan Reynolds one, but it didn't last because I guess again, animation that costs some money. Takes place during the time of Knights and not listen to Gun. There's a Green Lantern series that takes place during the time of Knights. That's interesting. Like Knights of the Round Table, that sort of thing. Let me see here, though. I'm not watching this shit. Well, here's the deal. Maybe we're wrong. I mean, it's got...
But I doubt it.
Stewart and Jordan had different rings in Justice League Unlimited. Well, come on. I'm sure they had different rings in the comics as well.
Well,
Stewart's his own man. That's the point. He doesn't get things
Again-
passed down. I'm just saying. I don't like. I like John Stewart. I liked him on Justice League.
John Stewart got his ring from Hal Jordan, but Hal Jordan eventually ended up getting his ring back, and Jordan was Stewart was given his own ring.
I see.
And you know what? That's actually good storytelling, because then there is no question about him taking on the mantle or him inheriting it or whatever. It's that he earns it himself, completely separate and apart from his predecessor.
Dude, I have a dark feeling about this show. What if they make Hal Jordan the villain, and Hal Jordan's been working with the right-wing extremists?
Well,
and he's the one who killed the.
They don't have the
gay
budget
Green
to do
Lantern.
that, because that would be the Parallax story, and they're not going to do that.
Oh, this is not good.
They're looking to go as cheap as they can.
Well, maybe it'll be like a split personality thing. That way, kind of like Mr. Mixo-Spitlick on Smallville, how he's just some dude, some Romanian kid.
I don't know. I'm out. I'm done. I'm already done with this Gunverse. And they're probably just going to have all nudity all the time too.
Yeah, how does Sinestro fit into this? Who's that? I don't know who you're talking about there.
Sinestro is the Yellow Lantern.
No, I know. I'm saying the creators of the show don't know who Sinestro
Oh yeah, they sure don't.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm
They don't know. They don't know thing one about what's going on with this show.
What I found fascinating about Sinestro was, especially in that one Green Lantern animated movie, was how you have like villains like the Joker that are, I would say, are chaotic evil, where Sinestro was lawful evil.
Very lawful evil.
That's what I saw him as. He was like the opposite end, but still evil. And I thought he was.
Right.
I thought he was done well in that one animated movie I saw him in. But oh well. Notice how dingy that ring looks too. Because it's the grit of the show, man.
Oh God.
Oh, Disney's allowed to resurrect Peter Cushing. If only, not literally, obviously.
Well, I mean, if they're doing some sort of necromancy, I don't know anything about that.
If you like Peter Cushing, he was in a ton of movies. It will take you a while to get through them all. So
True.
he was in Shockwaves, which was really good, which I was surprised at, because it rhymes with Yahtzee, but it had Yahtzee zombies in it, if you know what I mean, on an island. It was a Third Reich experiment gone wrong, and he was the German scientist left behind to keep an eye on things. And then, unfortunately, some people in a boat, they crash land there in the 70s, and these things were freaky. That's a freaky movie, Shockwaves. I was surprised, because I roll my eyes at the idea of that, from Call of Duty, but then it was done very effectively in this movie. So, the idea of creating like this ultimate super soldier that even the Germans couldn't control, so they had to exile them to this island, so
yeah,
it was interesting. But yeah, Disney had the right to resurrect Peter Cushing in a Star Wars film, judges have ruled. The late British acting legend, renowned for his many Hammer horror films, played Imperial Commander Grand Moff Tarkin in the first Star Wars in 1977, which later became Episode 4, A New Hope. You gave props to the article for remembering that, right?
Yes.
He died in 1994, but the character was recreated in a 2016 spin-off film, Rogue One, a Star Wars story, using special effects. The executors of Cushing's estate agreed to his likeness being recreated for that film in a deal with Lunac Heavy Industries. But in 2019, Tyburn Film Productions initiated legal proceedings against Lucasfilm, the studio behind the original Star Wars saga, and fellow Disney subsidiary Lunac, alleging unjust enrichment from the use of Cushing's image in Rogue One without its consent. Tyburn claimed that Cushing had signed a deal with the company in 1993 to appear in a television film, and argued that it gave it the right to be the first to resurrect Mr. Cushing by way of special effects. I'm assuming this was around the time of Forrest Gump, maybe? Where they were doing that stuff where they would take old film footage.
Yeah, could be.
So maybe that's where they thought it was going to go. The British film company claimed it had lost about $250,000 and sued Lucasfilm and Lunac in the High Court for alleged unjust enrichment at its expense. Lucasfilm and Lunac, however, said the case was hopeless and unsuccessfully tried to have the case thrown out twice. But the Court of Appeal ruled in their favor on Thursday. In the 12-page court ruling, Lady Chief Justice Baroness Carr, Sir Colin Bierce, and Lord Justice Zaccaroli found that Tyburn's claim was not sufficiently arguable. There is, in our view, no legal basis for Tyburn's primary claim, they said. It suffers from the fatal defect that it is impossible to identify anything at all that belonged to Tyburn which can be said to have been transferred to the appellants.
Yeah.
Cushing, who died from cancer at age 81, had his likeness recreated in film using special effects combined with the movements of actor Guy Henry. Rogue One was the highest grossing production of 2016 in the UK, according to the British Film Institute, and was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. The Star Wars films, which introduced audiences to the likes of Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia, and Darth Vader, have netted more than £3.75 billion in global ticket sales since the release of the first installment in 1977. Thoughts?
Yeah, so I definitely didn't hear anything in this article that tells me what this company's claim is to the likeness of a dead actor. They may have had a deal with him when he was alive. Generally, such deals end when someone dies, and that is why Disney went to the estate of Cushing and said, can we have your, and I'm sure there was some money that changed hands. Can we have, your sign off, and it's his estate. Legally speaking, this is completely legitimate. So I'd like to know how they can argue that this was unjust enrichment. In what way was it unjust? I mean, it's ridiculous. And I am not ever carrying the water for Disney, but this one kind of makes sense to me.
Fun fact about Peter Cushing was into miniature figures. I knew about this, especially in Napoleonic Wars. Dude, he's like you. He's a toy collector.
Kind of, yeah.
Yes. But I don't know, man. I'm of the opinion, though, I still would rather they just used actors. In fact, this actor, Guy Henry, just have him play Moff Tarkin instead of putting Peter Cushing's face over him. Okay? I mean, that's what they could have done.
For example, fans of this Fallout series, new episode coming on Christmas Day, in fact. They are... Or is it on Tuesday? I'm confused.
I love the actor on that. I've seen her interviewed. She's funny.
I'm getting confused by that one and Stranger Things. They're both kind of getting a staggered release. Anyway, the actor that plays, and I'm forgetting the guy's name. He looks like not Tony Stark, but Tony Stark from the 60s. The father.
Yes.
They've apparently recast that particular character, the head of Las Vegas. And it's like, okay, I don't see an issue here. You recast. There's nothing wrong with recast. Now, if you're going to recast, do a good job. I'm not saying they have to look just like the person. Probably want them to look similar enough that you can go, okay, I can see it. All I'm going to say is James Bond. That's it. Done. Let's quit with all this stupidity now, okay?
Let's move
Please.
on. The actor said in the interview, like the guy was asking her, "What do you think of all this stuff going on, like these horrible behaviors, like man spreading?" She's like, "Oh yeah, man spreading. That's terrible." Of course, I do that too with the like. She was making a joke that like she doesn't do or something.
Exactly.
Which I thought was funny because I originally thought she was going to go on some feminist tirade. No, she was just she actually made it into a joke, which I thought was
exactly.
Yes.
You have to at this point because even I think there would come a point where. I mean, it's like that Sydney Sweeney interview, right? When she's like, if I have something to say about it, I'll say it. It's like you eventually get to the point where this is some real stupid. Or who was the one who was asked about J.K. Rowling or something like that? And she laughed.
Oh, yes. Keira Knightley from Pirates of the Caribbean.
She's like, I had no idea. And she laughed because this is so ridiculous, this stuff at this point,
I would be annoyed. She was having an interview about a movie she was doing for Netflix that had nothing to do with her playing Professor Umbridge in an audio version of the Harry Potter novels coming out. And it's like you're bringing this other thing up, this other project I'm working on that's very removed from what we were talking about in this interview. And then you're trying to get me to do a condemnation of J.K. Rowling. Like, just stop. This is ridiculous. Okay. So yeah, moving on.
Oh, wait a minute. This is actually a great
Go ahead,
line.
put it up.
Jesse Guajardo says, Troy, personally, I really don't care, especially when Hasbro keeps making the same character in every new line of Star Wars toys. Means while in out toy lines like Jurassic Park, it's one and done. Yeah, exactly. We keep getting version after version after version of Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, over and over and over again. It's like, guys, I mean, I guess it's fine if you're just coming into it and you're like, you didn't get you don't have a Han Solo. Oh, look, there's a new Han Solo. You get the newest Han Solo. That's fine. But there's like 3 or 4 versions of Peter Cushing already. It's like, enough. We got the figure. Yes, we didn't get it back in the original run of Star Wars. We've had it 3 or 4 times now. You can stop making Peter Cushing figures.
Yeah, but this Peter Cushing figure was based on a tattoo this guy got on his thing that didn't look quite.
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, that was from Iron Man 3, which I think is one of the most underrated Christmas movies. Anyway, but there was a scene in Iron Man 3 where this guy named Jerry, the cameraman, because Tony Stark is on the run, he kind of jumps into this van from a TV news thing, and the camera says, "You're him," and he's like, and he's like, "Hey man, I don't want to freak you out right now." And then he lifts up his arm, and it's like full on Tony Stark face on it. And then he's like, and I made an action figure, but it was more based, and like his whole look he had he was wearing like a Tony Stark beard he had going on in his face because he was obsessed with Iron Man.
Yeah.
It was, and he said he had an action figure, but he said it doesn't look like it because they based it off the tattoo and it doesn't look quite right. But he was just, or maybe he based the tattoo off an action figure. Oh no, he based the tattoo. The tattoo was taken from an action figure that he made out of Tony, which didn't look quite right. It was ridiculous to see. You have to see it.
It sounds like the kind of thing that you would actually hear from people in the real world these days.
It's just funny. That's an underrated Marvel movie as far as I'm concerned, as Iron Man 3.
Agreed.
But anyway, moving on. Let's move on to Rupert Grint, Daisy Ridley, Sam Claflin, and Charlie Murphy among those rounding out the cast for Ebenezer Christmas Carol starring Johnny Depp.
Good. I'm glad to hear that these people are getting roles after the various film properties that they've let's say outgrown.
Yes, like Daisy Ridley here, which I know some people in our community still can't stand, but I've never had a personal issue.
I have no problem with her personally, and as long as she's working, maybe she'll just be too busy to do any
more Ray stuff
yes. for Disney anymore.
I'm suspecting. Do you think she's going to play Scrooge's lost love?
That's what I was thinking.
That's what I'm thinking too, but I don't know.
Which means it's not going to be a huge role, right?
If they do a flashback to his past, they might get more involved with it. That, or she's playing Mrs. Cratchit, or she could be playing one of the spirits. I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah, there's that too. Sure.
Rupert Grint, Sam Claflin, Charlie Murphy, Daisy Ridley, Arthur Conti, and Ellie Bamber have joined Ebenezer A Christmas Carol, Paramount and Ty West's new take on the classic Charles Dickens novella, with Johnny Depp starring in the titular role. West is directing. Andrea Riseborough, Ian McKellen, and Tremel Tillman have also signed on with the studio, dating the film for November 13th, 2026. Nathaniel Halpern penned the script with Emma Watts producing. Classic Dickens story has seen a fair share of retellings over the years, with its tale of an elderly miser visited by the ghosts of his former business partner and the spirits of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas yet to come. This also marks the second Christmas Carol pick announced this year after Warner Brothers put in development an adaptation from Robert Eggers with William Dafoe in line to play Scrooge. You know what's weird about this? Both Ty West and Eggers, they're known for making these weird horror movies, and now they're both doing A Christmas Carol. I'm wondering if we're going to have similar tones.
Probably because
they
definitely come from that kind of a background, so that could be very interesting.
The Depp version, a ghost story set in Dickens' London, follows one man's supernatural journey to face his past, present, and future to fight for a second chance. While not confirmed, sources say Grint will play Bob Cratchit, Scrooge's selfless employee. It is unknown who the others will be playing. Stephen Duders and Jason Foreman are executive producers. Adam Bowling and David Reed are also executive producing. I'm curious about this.
Yeah, I am too.
So yeah,
I am. Obviously last night we just watched another version of A Christmas Carol, and we were talking about the many different interpretations there've been. And personally, I'm fine with as many versions as they want to do.
I just want them to be well done. I recently watched the Mr. Magoo's A Christmas Carol.
Yeah,
from the 1960s.
that's
Remember
a funny
that one?
actually. Yeah.
What I like about that one is the way he's counting the gold in the beginning. He's so obsessed with counting the coins.
Yeah.
And as a kid, you want those gold coins too.
Well,
right?
Yeah. I mean,
that was, I don't know if that was the thing with girls. I know for boys, at least for me, I always wanted to find the pot of gold. Gold coins fascinated me. I always.
Well, think about Lucy from the Peanuts when he puts the coin in and she tinkles it around. Oh, the sound of money! Good old-fashioned hard cash.
Yeah, she still
nickels. Yes,
she still does that. Is that a pivot into another story?
Maybe.
Hold on, I lost my spot on my notes because I was trying to look up Rupert Grint. That's not the Harry Potter kid, is it?
Yeah. Yeah, he's the one that plays
sense. Ron Woozleby. Ronald Woozleby.
Ron Weasley.
No, this was a joke from the novels that unfortunately got lost in the movies because there's a scene in it where Ron had a bad pen, so he signed his own textbook and it came out Ronald Woozleby. And then when Harry had a textbook that he was using spells that had been written there by former classmate and doing bad things with the spells, he kind of switched it out for Ron's last minute, and the Saint finds it and he says, "This isn't your textbook." And then yes, it is. It says Ronald Woozleby. That's my nickname. That's what Harry Potter says to him. But it was they missed the wit in that. But actually, no, we have a Spielberg movie next. Hold on. This was a big thing this week. Where have you been, Mr. Spielberg? Okay. And someone asked, did we ever find out what happened to the kid in Iron Man 3? He got replaced by Spider-Man. That's what happened to him.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that kid was going to be like
chances are his whole history has been rewritten now because of the the stones and all the other goofiness. So it doesn't really matter anymore.
I always suspected before they got the rights to Spider-Man that they were going to use the kid as like a junior Iron Man. But anyway.
Interesting, yeah.
No,
that wouldn't happen because it had to be a girl.
Well, this was before they went nuts, when they were still interested in making movies audiences
actually making movies. Yeah, exactly.
New Steven Spielberg movie coming out. Steven Spielberg's UFO movie starring Emily Blunt and Josh O'Connor unveils trailer and title. I do like Emily Blunt, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
And this is interesting. Let me go ahead and read this. The new Steven Spielberg movie from Universal will be titled Disclosure Day. A new trailer dropped Tuesday that you can watch above, and the movie remains set to open on June 12th next year. The movie reps Spielberg's return to his extraterrestrial invasion stomping ground, made popular with such tentpoles as Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., and War of the Worlds. Mm-hmm. In the trailer, we see Emily Blunt's weather girl not holding it together as she becomes possessed by some foreign entity. Whatever is going on in the world, it also has the attention of wild animals and nuns. Yeah, there are nuns in this movie too, and I keep thinking, is it going to be revealed that the nuns are the aliens? They're going to take off the masks, and that's going to be Squid People. I don't know. Okay, whatever is going on in the world, it also has the attention of wild. Okay, sorry. Pardon me. The studio's logline sent around today. If you found out we weren't alone, if someone showed you, proved it to you, would that frighten you? This summer, the truth belongs to 7 billion people. We are coming close to Disclosure Day. This is my thoughts on that question. Someone comes out and says aliens exist, extraterrestrials exist, and people would say, "Oh, that's interesting," and figure out what they're having for dinner.
Well, yeah, because no one's going to believe it at this point. They've done such a great job of
yes.
Let's face it. The information and misinformation that we've gotten. We no longer believe the media. We no longer believe our governments. So, you come out, yeah, okay, here we go again. Sure. Whatever.
That was the thing they would do on the X-Files with Mulder to throw him off. They would give him misinformation.
Yeah.
Here's a flawless picture of a UFO, and Scully was warning this. You can't just believe this as though you're just a doubter. And then later on, he actually checked something and realized that the moon in the mirror was a half moon and the moon in the sky was a full moon. And he said, if it wasn't for that, this would have looked flawless like a real thing. And that's how he knew. But anyway, sorry. But Josh O'Connor, Colin Firth, Eve Hewson, and Coleman Domingo also star in the pick, the plot of which has been mostly under wraps. The story is from Spielberg, with the screenplay from his longtime collaborator David Cope, who had previously teamed with scripts for Jurassic Park, The Lost World, Jurassic Park, that was not a good movie, War of the Worlds, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Disclosure Day, Mark Spielberg's first film since 2022, semi-autobiographical.
It's gotten to the point where now they're giving people's bona fides by referencing films and people going, this isn't a glowing endorsement for this guy. I didn't like those movies.
I was fine with War of the Worlds. Granted, it the fact that things were underground didn't make any sense to me, but other than that, I thought it was an interesting adaptation. Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, there's half a good movie there.
Yeah.
I hated Lost World. I hate it to this day. I've never liked the sequel, and apparently it didn't even, but had nothing in common with the book sequel. Apparently,
no,
too.
it did
That's
not.
what I heard. Yeah, so
no, it did not.
Disclosure, but I don't know. I'm up for a UFO picture. I'm up for Spielberg to do something new. I was hoping for something more action adventure orientated, but it looks like this is more in the line of like Close Encounters or E.T. But we'll see. I mean, I like Emily Blunt. What do we think? Disclosure Day. I'm always late on the notes because they have the previous things I was just looking at.
Yeah.
Sounds like E.T. came back angry. That would be.
Yeah.
I'll spare Elliot and his family, but y'all are going. Y'all, I'm wasting
Exactly.
the rest of you. You know. And I imagine some CIA guy says, "Look, all we want to do was kill you and cut your head off and open you up and see what was inside. That's all we want to do, E.T."
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know though. Skinny blonde white kid at Tony's funeral was the little boy from Iron Man 3. Oh, okay, so they did have him in Iron Man at Tony's funeral. At least they kept consistency there. They didn't do anything with him though.
Well, what are you going to do with him? It's not like he's a superhero or something.
He could have been Iron Man the next generation. You know what that kid was? And this is a lost thing people don't understand. He was a street urchin. You know how like characters in these things would adopt a street urchin. Like it wouldn't shock me if Tony Stark paid for his MIT tuition or something, because he was a smart kid. He bought him a whole lab to experiment with too. It was a thing, but I don't know. And he made Tony a tuna sandwich because Tony says, "I need this, and a tuna sandwich." Okay, tuna salad sandwich. He said. Oh no.
Yeah.
Angel Studios.
This one was the biggest WTF I've ever seen.
Okay, so I think there is some explanation for this because I don't believe Angel Studios funded this. I think they bought it. I think it was independently made, and Angel Studios bought it to release it. Okay, but let's read this. I watched the trailer for this too.
Well, why would that doesn't answer anything. Why would they do that? Why would you spend the money to release this? This is the kind of thing that you should be like, no, this should not exist.
A new animated adaptation of George Orwell's Animal Farm is drawing fierce backlash that the film shifts the story's core message away from communism and toward a critique of capitalism. The controversy has ignited a broader debate over Hollywood's growing habit of rewriting classic literature to fit modern ideological preferences rather than honoring original intent.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. The film is directed by Andy Serkis. Takes Orwell's famously bleak political allegory, reshapes it into a family-friendly animated feature complete with slapstick humor, futuristic elements, and most controversially, a hopeful ending. I don't like hopeful endings.
I want to see the same studio now do the same thing with Watership Down. I want to see a happy, child-friendly Watership Down now.
You think they're not going to do that after this travesty?
Probably. You're probably right.
The film is directed... Okay, so let me see. For many readers and longtime fans of the novel, that change represents more than creative license. It represents a fundamental misunderstanding of what Animal Farm was written to warn against in the first place. First published in 1945, Animal Farm was Orwell's scathing allegory of the Russian Revolution and the rise of Soviet totalitarianism. The animals overthrew their human owner in the name of equality, only to watch the pigs become even more oppressive than the humans they replaced. Yes, because that's what happens. You think you're getting rid of,
Exactly.
you get rid of one set of elites, and then a new set of elites shows up, and they're even worse. Okay,
Right.
so the story was not ambiguous. Orwell was critiquing how revolutionary movements rooted in collective ideology inevitably collapsed into corruption, propaganda, and authoritarian control. The pigs were not misunderstood heroes; they were the point. That clearly is precisely what critiques argue has been lost in the adaptation, turning capitalism into the villain rather than focusing on the pig's abuse of power. The new film reframes the central conflict around capitalism itself. The animals are now depicted fighting to save their farm from corporate exploitation, represented by a new human antagonist named Frida. Frida is portrayed as a greedy businesswoman attempting to seize control of the farm for profit. The character is voiced by Glenn Close, who and is explicitly positioned as the story's true villain, replacing the original novel's focus on internal tyranny. It looks terrible. I
It
watched.
does.
I read the book in high school. I remember
Me
that.
too.
Yes, it actually got me to read 1984 later on. I wanted to read.
Yes.
Which had a
Yes.
similar.
Exactly.
Yeah. Shift
Watch
is not.
them now. You know. Now you say that. Now they're going to do the same thing with 1984.
Shift is not going to know as viewers reacted to the trailer online and pointed out that the story now appears to suggest communism works, at least until capitalism interferes. For many, the reversal turns of Orwell's warning on its head. Well, you know what it is? It's about having the right kind of communism, right? We haven't tried it yet. We just got to keep trying it, and how many people have to die in the process, you know?
Well, and most political experts point out the only way communism works is through socialism. You need the government in charge to force communism, but then you have the corruption of a government, and it becomes totalitarian. It happens all the time. I mean, it's like communism, real communism never been tried. That's right. You know what? That's just like, you want world peace? Wipe out every human being in the world and you'll have world peace. You're kind of missing the point here.
Do you think someone over Angel Studios bought this thinking that this movie, because it's animated, was a traditional telling of the story, and then they got it, and then they realized
That
it was
means
something
they didn't
else?
do their job. They should have known what they were buying before they paid for it.
And
They do their job if that's the case. That's
people
even worse.
didn't read Animal Farm. I remembered years ago, TNT made a version of Animal Farm with like using puppet animals from the Jim Henson Company, and they were voice acted. You understand?
Yeah.
And I remember thinking at the time, it was all right. I didn't like the fact that there was a happy ending with the ducks or something where they escaped and the pigs finally, like nature took its course and took the pigs down eventually, and things got back to normal, which I thought, okay, well, that's a happy ending, which I don't think really belongs in Animal Farm. But it was, at least it didn't get away from the whole communist allegory being bad, you know. Like some animals are equal, but other animals are more equal than. But some animals, all animals are equal, but some animals are more equal than others. That was the new rule, which of course is wonderful phrasing, right? Because it's blow it out your ear, Smeagol. I can't believe Andy Serkis did this. You're British, isn't George Orwell one of their heroes? I mean, this is. I don't get it, and.
I don't either.
It's like a McDonald's version of Animal Farm.
Yeah, exactly. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba, you're loving it.
Because they have to make it cute and funny, and you have to have the corporate bad guy, but that's not what Animal Farm's about. Animal Farm is about the pigs. The pigs are. I mean, there was a stand-in for Lennon in there, and he gets offed in this book, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is just. Russell Crowe criticizes Gladiator 2. This is an interesting one.
Yeah, this one, I was like, oh, really?
I didn't bother seeing Gladiator 2, but apparently Russell Crowe finally has, and Russell Crowe recently spoke to Australia's Triple J and shared his disappointment with Gladiator 2, Ridley Scott's 2024 sequel to the Oscar-winning Gladiator. Crowe headlined the original movie, but was not a fan of the follow-up. I think the recent sequel, we don't have to name it out loud, is a really unfortunate example of even the people in the engine room not actually understanding what made the first one so special, Crowe said.
Exactly.
It wasn't the pomp, it wasn't the circumstance, it was the action, it was the moral core. Crowe, who won the Oscar for Best Actor thanks to his performance as Maximus in Gladiator, said he was always committed to preserving his character's moral core during the making of the original movie. His steadfastness led to creative clashes against those who wanted to rough Maximus up around the edges and give him sex scenes. The thing is, there was a daily fight on the set. I was in a daily fight. It was a daily fight to keep the moral core of the audience, Crowe said. The amount of times they suggested sex scenes and stuff like that for Maximus, it's like you're taking away his powers. So you're saying at the same time he had his relationship with his wife, he was screwing this other girl, basically. And
Right.
what are you talking about? It's crazy. Yes, because he was loyal to his wife. He was married.
Right.
He was a married man with children, right? I mean, that
Right.
was his whole thing. Because yes, there were men in ancient Rome that were
and that
still
just
loyal family
tells
men.
me-
Yes,
This tells me everything you need to know about Hollywood. They don't even understand that. They hear that and they're like, huh? Be true to your family? Be true to your wife? What? What are you talking about? What weirdness kind of craziness is that?
yeah. So it says much of Gladiator's plot is set in motion by the murder of Maximus's wife and child, which sets him on a path of revenge. As a result, it didn't make sense for Crowe that Maximus would have affairs or sex with other women because his love for his wife was so resolute and driving his mission forward. That makes sense. You're not thinking
Right.
about that. Gladiator 2, however, reveals that Maximus did have a past affair with Lucilla, Connie Nelson, that resulted in a child. Lucius, played by Paul Mescal. Crowe appears to suggest the sequel hurt Maximus's moral code, which was crucial to the original Gladiator. Isn't it nice when actors stand up for the demolishing
Yeah.
of the characters they played? And I wish other actors had been steadfast and said no to certain directors,
Agreed.
such as Rian Johnson, whose article we nixed this week. Maybe we'll do it next week. But it was just
Why
why
Let's
did
just
Mark
let it
Hamill
be.
put his foot down with what they did to Luke? Because
Right.
now, apparently, of course, Maximus died at the end of Gladiator, so he wasn't coming back. But I think if they, but it looks like Russell Crowe in the original said, no, this is this character. This is what I'm playing. You don't understand this character.
Right. And he's not wrong.
He got really annoyed too. He says they should be effing paying me for the amount of questions I am asking about the film I'm not even in. Remember when he was getting
Yeah.
asked? So good on Russell Crowe, and I think it's time people talked about this stuff because it's ridiculous. So that was when we let stupid people make stupid movies. Well, I have to tell you, Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott is absolutely stupid.
I mean, I still marvel at House of Gucci. I know I brought this up before, but
Yeah.
complete disaster. You have Al Pacino in it doing a pompous Italian accent, and you have all the actors, they were doing these Italian accents. I'm thinking, this is Italy. People don't speak English with Italian accents in Italy.
Right.
Just have them speak regular. Just don't do this. I don't know why they keep doing this. It's one thing if they were coming to America and they're learning English and they have the Italian accent. It makes sense there. I've never understood this. Troy, but anyway, I just don't understand. Lady Gaga was in it. And
Yeah.
Salma Hayek played a witch in it too. That Lady Gaga was commiserating with to assassinate her husband. What do you think of that?
I'm sick of Hollywood. I really am.
To me, Gladiator 2 is an asylum parody. So it played like a parody. Well, remember the Metatron? Did you ever watch the Metatron's reaction?
Oh, all the time. Yeah.
He did a reaction to the trailer, and he was like watching this, and he's saying, okay, well, those are the two brothers, I guess. But I think they said the names were wrong. Like the younger was supposed to have this name, and the older was supposed to have this name. But yeah, that's how they acted, I guess. Oh yes, no, they would have sailing ships in the arena sometimes. Yes, they would have like fake sea battles. Then he sees a scene with some guy charging a rhinoceros, and then he says, "No, that's out of World of Warcraft. That did not happen in ancient Rome."
Exactly. Yeah.
Riding rhinoceroses in the arena. Troy, when it comes to historical films, there's always one person in the room who wants to spice things up. Of course
Yeah.
there is. Troy, when it comes to Ford versus Ferrari, it was an awesome film that stick to the facts. I loved Ford versus Ferrari when that came out. Christian Bale, Matt Damon. It's a historical movie about the famous. Hollywood does well with the racing movies
Yep.
for some reason. Like I love Gran Turismo. That was good. I enjoyed that. Last year I liked F1 this year. So Italians in the U.S. say Rome has one syllable. Italy, Rome has two syllables. Interesting.
That's true.
Roma.
That is true.
Is it called Roma?
Roma.
Yes,
See.
because I've seen that in my Italian horror movies. They always say I always see Roma on the screen. Was that how they say it over there? Roma. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Let's move on to. This was the Peanuts shift that we didn't get to do earlier, but yeah. There's Lucy with her nickels, though, right? Smiling.
Yes, exactly.
Do you have a favorite Peanuts character, Netter?
Well, let's see. I guess Woodstock.
Ha! There you go.
That's a good character. Okay,
yeah,
I'll
not
take
a bad
Woodstock.
one.
Mine's always Peppermint Patty, but I do like Woodstock. Yeah. If you ever watch,
I was always a Linus fan, but I could definitely relate to Charlie Brown.
Well, he does have his favorite blankie.
Yes.
Sony strikes $457 million deal to acquire majority stake in Peanuts brand. I'm a little nervous about this.
I know. It hardly matters because since it's been purchased and gone to streaming, it's off the airways now. Unless you're watching channels like ours that show these to you at the holidays.
I bet Schultz's widow. You okay?
Yeah, I just sneezed too.
Oh, okay.
So God bless both of us.
Okay, though, yes, God bless you. Anyway, I was thinking that maybe Schultz's widow passed away because I remember when the Peanuts movie came out. It took them years to get that off the ground, and they asked Schultz's widow when a sequel is coming. It says, well, it took 10 years, maybe another 10, because like she says, I think back then they were very resident as to who they would give the Peanuts to work on.
Yeah.
But the Peanuts movie turned out great, I thought, for a modern animated version of the Peanuts movie. A lot of little nods to past Peanuts specials too. You'll see in it, like the tree and everything else. But apparently, Sony now has the rights. Sony Music Entertainment Japan, and U.S.-based Sony Pictures Entertainment said Thursday they have signed an agreement with LongBrain to acquire the latter's 41% stake in Peanuts Holdings LLC, the holding company for Charles M. Schulz. Created cartoon franchise that includes Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and the Gang. The deal is for 630 million Canadian. While Brain said it's releasing an announcement of the deal that was roughly 457 million in the United States. When the transaction is complete, Sony, which already owns approximately 39% of Peanuts holding after a 2018 acquisition, will own 80% of the company. The Schultz family will retain its current 20% stake. So maybe the Schultz family still has a say in what happens.
Yeah, but only by about 20%. It's meaningless. It's just
do not make Peanuts for the modern audience. Peanuts is timeless. You don't have to change it.
You know that they're going to make Peppermint Patty and Marcy gay.
They aren't. On the old show, Peppermint Patty is always flirting with Charlie Brown. Okay? This is a part of her character. Someone made a point in one of the Peanuts things that Charlie Brown's always after the red girl, but they actually made a point that, Charlie, probably the one best for him was actually Peppermint Patty if they were to pair up at older.
Probably.
Because they had different personalities, but they might complement each other.
Yeah.
So, Sony said Wednesday, and she's a tomboy.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean she's a lesbian.
I love
she likes sports.
I've seen a lot of T-shirts that say "Save the Tomboys."
Yes.
Because they keep trying to push. You're a tomboy. That means you really want to be a boy. So
yes, all this other
let's chop things off of you.
And frankly, they're too young for you to be too worried about their sexuality. This is ridiculous. Okay,
I know.
Stop it. Just let the kids be kids. Let the kids have something. Okay.
Right.
Sony said Wednesday in announcing the deal with the ownership rights to Peanuts and the management of its business will continue to be handled through Peanuts Worldwide, a wholly owned subsidiary of Peanuts Holdings LLC. Peanuts Peanuts Worldwide will become a consolidated subsidiary of Sony Group and Sony Music, taking and managing Peanuts Holdings and a variety of SPE. Since 2018, SMG has been proud to be part of the partnership behind Peanuts, an iconic global entertainment brand with 75-year legacy of delighting audiences worldwide. With this additional ownership stake, we are thrilled to be able to further elevate the value of Peanuts brand by drawing on the Sony Group's extensive global network and a collective enterprise. We are deeply committed to carrying the... What do you mean global?
It's a global market now. They're focused on how they can get more money from other countries.
Peanuts is American. I'm sorry. It's an American comic strip series that's made for American audiences. In fact, I often argued...
They keep chasing the foreign dollars because they're not making any money here because they keep making crap that nobody wants to see.
In fact, I could argue like newly arrived immigrants should read Peanuts. That'll teach them all they need to know about the United States. Okay,
it's kind of true.
It's all there. Right. All right. Together with I'm fine as long as they don't botch it up.
Yeah.
And so far they haven't. I mean, the few specials I've seen on Apple have been fine. They haven't veered too far away from the sort of Peanuts shows we watched as a kid. So I don't really have a problem. You have to be very careful with this.
In a way, they've been doing better with the Peanuts than Disney's been doing with the Muppets.
Don't even bring that up. That makes me angry.
I know.
I complete waste. Yep. Always like Linus pulling back the football. There's so much on this. There's so much truth in Peanuts. I'm sorry. There just is.
Yeah.
I'm just, always liked Linus. Yeah, so did I. Down with corporate overlords. I have to say, I get worried when I see stuff like this. And it's possible Sony might leave it alone and treat it as it's supposed to be treated, but I get worried. And frankly, you need to find some decent writers to be the new caretakers of Peanuts and that get it. And, hope we get a new toy line of the Peanuts. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot you can do with the Peanuts, I'm saying. I mean, I've gotten Christmas ornaments with the Peanuts on them. Just saying.
Right.
Troy, I like to eat Red Baron pizza when I watch Peanuts cartoons, so that's funny.
I've never made that connection before, but I get it now.
That's the thing. As a child, you're seeing Snoopy, and he's going after the Red Baron, the World War I flying ace. And what do you do as a kid? Who is the Red Baron? And then you go look. You got to
go and find out. Yeah, exactly.
And you learn about World War One. I learned about World War One from
classical
Peanuts.
Music. I learned a lot about classical music from the Peanuts and from Looney Tunes.
Yes. Exactly. Schroeder with his classical music. And that's what I liked about the Peanuts movie, even though it was a modern movie. We're safe because like the first 5 minutes of that movie, you're reintroducing all the characters you have. They're all waking up to the alarm clock. Everyone's slamming the alarm. And I think Peppermint Patty bashes it with a baseball bat or something. And then when Schroeder wakes up, it's the tune of the da-da-da-da. It's Beethoven, and he's doing his conductor thing when he's hearing it, and they're all acting like they're supposed to act, which is how it's supposed to be. Linus and the Punk waiting for the Great Pumpkin is a good way for the UFO stuff of AI turning in the sky. Yeah, I mean,
oh god, yeah,
I just. Don't give them modern technology. Please don't do that.
Right.
Don't give them like I like the fact that in the Snoopy's still typing on the typewriter. Please just leave it be. So this could be good or bad. I don't care if it gives us more quality Peanuts content. I'm all for it. Just don't muck it up.
For sure.
Please. Because they've ruined everything else from my childhood. Please leave this alone. Okay. All right.
You're not wrong.
I guess we're going to end with the Rolling Stones.
This one kind of surprised me.
If I see Snoopy on a cell phone, I'm out. Yeah, I don't want that stuff. It doesn't belong in Peanuts. Make a new cartoon. Just make a new comic strip dealing with the modern stuff. You can do that. Be creative, but don't make Peanuts as Peanuts. Anyway, the Rolling Stones have called off plans for a 2020 stadium tour of the United Kingdom and Europe. A source close to the band confirms to Variety, following reports that guitarist Keith Richards was unable to commit to it. While never officially announced, the group's touring pianist Chuck Leavell and a spokesperson recently told Press of the UK that the band was nearly completed a new album, their second with a 35-year-old producer Andrew Watt, and planned on touring in the UK and Europe. However, Richards, who turns 82 on Thursday, is said to be unable to commit to the rigors of another tour. Live dates in recent years have shown that he has faced challenges due to long battle with arthritis, which he has called benign and said has forced him to change his style of playing. Richards was in fine form during a brief 3-song performance at the Soho Sessions in New York last month. However, that is a much different proposition than a multi-country, multi-week tour. I'm sorry, he's gotten older. Okay.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm surprised with his lifestyle he's still alive, to be honest with you. Okay.
Well, I know
Sorry.
there's been a lot of jokes about that. Like, I swear the guy's like pickled or something, that he found the right formula. That
Keith Richards, yeah.
Yeah.
When properly sat down to discuss the tour, Keith said he didn't think he could commit and wasn't keen on big stadium tour for over 4 months. That is a long time to tour, but that's usually how it is. Because I think the Billy Idol tour went on for a while too. He's in great shape though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just the new album appears to be on track for release next year. So they are going to do a new album. Okay. Hackney Diamonds, their first full album of new material in some 15 years in 2023. Okay. That's when they announced it. What does that mean, Hackney Diamonds?
I have no idea.
Okay. But Richards added Andrew's contagious vitality about him, coupled with an unrelenting enthusiasm, which is a great qualities as a producer. Also, he was great fun to work with, another great quality. Okay, that was the producer's album. Okay, so, yeah, that's it. You're a Rolling Stones fan?
No, I never liked the Rolling Stones.
They're okay. I like some of their songs, but not necessarily their reputation, though. They have a nasty reputation. But,
yep.
That wraps it up. What did we learn tonight, Charlie Brown?
That my instincts about the entertainment industry are mostly right.
Okay. In some ways, Gunn was big in the Disney stuff, so it's like he invaded Warner Brothers. I think Warner Brothers is done. I hate to say this. They're being sold. If they get sold, they're done as a studio. They're not going to be a studio anymore. My main worry, though, is that if Netflix buys it, that means all the great legacy content gets washed away. Whereas if Paramount buys them, they might take care of that stuff, so you can still, watch or purchase the old movies. But yeah, if they're done. But Keith Richards schedules to fulfill filming. Yes, the Mummy. Oh, that's funny. You saying he's going to be the Mummy?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And I should point out, we need to wrap this up because we need to get you over to Deleted Scenes. We're going to be there in just a few minutes ourselves because we're doing his show. We're guests on his show.
We're going to be there. So really, it's going to be like an extended version of this show, but with bonus deleted scenes. Or
so if you are on my channel, I will shepherd you over there.
I forgot to do the 40 thing, so give me a minute and I will do it too.
It's in the link is in the group chat there.
Look, listen, if you're subscribed to us, you need to be subscribed to Steven as well, because he does great content. Plus he features on many of our shows and we feature on him. So, definitely check that out. I
am going to drop the link so that it's there for you folks.
Appreciate that.
And that's it.
I will put a pin in that, and not okay. Yes, I'll put a pin in it. So you guys go link up and go there, and we'll be there shortly. 11:50, like 10 minutes.
Get over there and take a look at the little ticker at the bottom, and you'll know.
Oh, yikes! It's about to happen now. Okay.
Exactly.
Well, okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize it was scheduled for 11. Okay. Roll the credits. We'll see you there.
All right. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.